Okay, official live. So let's check what happened on Facebook. Okay, we are live. Now I'm going to share on my Facebook page and then we can start.
All right.
Okay, I just share on my Facebook page. Okay,
Yeah,
so
can I share on my page as well?
yeah, sure.
How do I do that? How do I?
Okay.
How do I?
When you are ready, we can start.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, perfect. So I just give an introduction to my Italian friends. So, ciao a tutti ragazzi, eccoci qui in diretta su Drumworld di sabato. Siamo qui in diretta con Kenny, che tutti conosciamo come Rhino, storico drummer dei Manowar e non solo. Il medio non è molto favorevole in questo momento dove si trova lui in Florida, ma comunque cerchiamo di fare la diretta e quindi possiamo iniziare. So, my friends, we are live here with Rhino, super drummer from Manowar, Holy Hell, Ross the Boss, and now we are talking about drums. So, man, welcome. I'm really happy to have you here. It's a great honor. How are you?
Great. I appreciate you having me. Thank you very much.
Okay, so my first question is really simple. Just how did you start to play drums and why?
Well, when I was about maybe about 6 years old, my dad's a musician, so he would sit around the house and play, guitar, and I was really interested in banging on something while he was playing guitar. Whether boxes or pots and pans. It's a pretty cliche story. I was beating on something when he would play guitar. I thought it was really very. It always made me feel really good to be holding a beat. To be playing along, and I always felt like it kind of almost put me in a trance when I was playing. Whether I was hitting whatever it was I was hitting on, with a couple of toothbrushes in my hand or whatever, and like I said, he was a big influence for me because he was such a musician, and then he got me a set of drums for Christmas. And I sat down and just started playing like it was like I've been playing all my life. It just felt natural.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay. Now it's just freeze for a few seconds.
Oh, okay. All right.
But we'll do it.
All right.
Okay, so, and I'm just curious to know which drummer influenced your style during the years.
Well, first started out, I really liked Alex Van Halen and I liked Joey Kramer with Aerosmith. And you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. And I went to a Heart concert and I saw Michael Droger play. Do you know Michael DeRozier, the drummer for Heart?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw him in a concert, and I thought he was one of the coolest drummers I ever saw. And come to find out, he liked John Bonham a lot, so I listened to John Bonham, and that's how I got to my drum set, which was just one kick drum, one mounted tom, two four tom, and really got into Michael DeRozier and then John Bonham. And then my dad said, you know, you got to listen to this guy with Pat Travers, Tommy Aldridge, you know. Then I started listening to Cozy Powell because I had Rainbow Records. I had Rainbow, Long Live Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
And I had
Super
Stargazer. Yeah, I had Stargazer, you know. So a lot of those was like, you know, in the early days, like Joey Kramer, and, Alex Van Halen, Tommy Aldridge, Cozy Powell, and John Bonham and Michael DeRozier. You know.
Yeah.
So I listened to those guys. Then my dad was like, hey, you know, you should listen to this guy with Journey. So I started listening to Steve Smith Journey because he was not just a rock drummer. He was more like he was a jazz drummer.
Yeah.
And when I heard him playing jazz, you know, like that real, all that fusion jazz, I thought, wow, I want to sound like Steve now. So I tried to copy what he was doing, and just my ears, not really knowing what he was doing. And so somebody said to me, you know, he's playing a lot of rudiments. And I said, well, what? I guess I'll learn rudiments. So I sat down with a little practice pad and learn rudiments so I could sound like Steve Smith, you know.
Yeah. It was so. Yeah. I was also surprised when I discovered that Stevie Smith was one of the first drummers of Journey, because I only knew him for his fusion stuff, and I can imagine that he can play our air in this way. Mm-hmm. So I was surprised like you. But which drummer you prefer in Journey for your taste, Steve Smith or Dean Castronovo?
And then as years went by, when I got into my 20s, I heard this guy, Castronovo. I heard him on a Dr. Mastermind album, Shrapnel, the Shrapnel record. I don't know if you heard this record, Dr. Mastermind. You have to check it out. It's got D playing on, and there's also this band called Wild Dog.
Yeah, Wild Dog.
And man, when I heard that guy, I thought, when does drumming ever stop going faster and crazier? And so I thought, well, I gotta sound like Dean now. I want to sound like him. I actually prefer. Well, it's such two different drummers. I prefer Steve for his ability and for his knowledge, but Dean has incredible power and. You know, but he sings great too. So
yeah, it's really hard to choose one of them.
No.
Yeah. I remember first time I heard Dean Castronovo was in the album Double Eclipse from Hardline.
Oh, from Hardline, yeah.
The first song of the album starts with an incredible little drum solo, and I say, oh wow.
I know. Every time that guy plays something, it's recorded, and you hear a record of him, you always say to yourself, what was that?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah. It's super, super cool. And this is a not easy question, but do you still remember what your first concert was like? What did you feel the first time you went on stage?
Yeah. Oh, it's on stage. You mean like with Manowar or anybody?
No. Your first live show ever as a drummer.
I think my first shows as a drummer was with my dad. You know, he used to take me to some of his shows, and he would, hey, you know, my son's a drummer, come up on stage, and you know, introduce you to my son. He plays drums. And I can remember playing, thinking, this is the greatest thing in the world. There's no feeling that compares this, playing drums.
Yeah.
I thought it was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, cool. It's a really great memories to have in your heart and your mind. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And what did you think when you were contacted to join Manowar?
Well, at the time, I was with a local band, local metal band, and they came into town and played the local club that we have there, and my band was playing at the same time, and I got to talking to Scott Columbus. I said, I saw him for the show. I said, I wish that you and your band would watch my band and check it out and listen to my band. And they actually did, because Scott heard me playing drums and he said to Joey, "You got to hear this guy. This is the replacement. This is the guy you need in the band." Ooh. So they all came out and listened to me play. And next thing I know, after the show, they were wanting my phone number. Joey called me up and said, "We're looking for a new drummer." That was it, man. I was in them. That was 1980, like 88, something like that.
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, I think it was 1988. Yes.
Yeah.
And the first time you joined on stage with Manowar, what do you feel?
Yeah, I remember it was in Kassel, Germany. Ooh. And I remember well because I wear earplugs when I play, and I remember the drum in Manowar, the drummer doesn't count the song. He counts the songs, like a conductor.
Yes.
So he counted off the first song, which was War, and I couldn't hear him because I had the earplug in, and he counted off so quiet, and everybody else to hear, and they both, him and everybody jumps on stage, the drum riser, and start Manowar, and I was like, what? I didn't hear the start of the song, so that I catch up with him. I remember the curtain opening up and all these people in the audience, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, these guys are actually a little more popular than I realized.
Yeah. Yeah, I found on YouTube a video about the song Metal Warriors.
Yeah.
From the Triumph of Steel tour. Did you ever saw it?
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, there's a great groove in the band, a good mood.
Yeah,
flow.
yeah. Appreciate that. Yes. This is good times, man. Really, really, really good times. But that's what I think that drumming is about. It's about having, to me, had really great feel, great movement to the music. Not so stiff, and I think drums should have what they call in America. They say drums have that swing, a swing when you're playing.
Yeah.
Instead of so stiff, that's what we say.
Yeah. I understand. It's just to give to every song the good move, the good grooves for it.
Yeah, but I think as a drummer, the groove is something that you're born with. You can't teach a groove to someone. I mean, it has to be something that's inside
Yeah.
of your body.
Yes.
I think a lot of drummers are good. They just don't have that. It's a specific. It's almost a spiritual feel. It's me. It is like a something when they're playing. Everything's in the right place.
Yes.
The kicks in the right place, the snares in the right place, the hi-hat when they're playing out, or the ride, or everything is there. Unfortunately, that's lacking in a lot of these new drummers of the day. There's no personality. There's no real groove. There's everything sounds perfect. Every time I hear a new band or a new song, I think, well, it sounds like somebody programmed drums, or they programmed the U program, or they. I mean, I know Tramp is a very fast album. There's a lot of crazy stuff on that record, but nowadays, you just can't. People's personality just doesn't come through anymore like they used to. When you heard Cozy Powell, you knew it was Cozy Powell.
Yes.
When you heard, Tommy Aldridge, you knew it was Tommy Aldridge. One, because of their sound. Two, because of how they played. Three, because of the groove. That's what set drummers apart back in the day. Nowadays, everybody has the same, snare drum sample, tom samples, kick drum samples. It's like, I just think it's gotten pretty crazy. Of course, I'm an old guy, 60 years old now, and I remember those days when everybody had their own voice,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that about the personality of a drummer, the sound, the groove. I think you are a good drummer when you start playing not for yourself but for the songs. I think this is the fact that gives you the difference between a drummer that just play like, okay, I have to play the groove, and think only about it. But when you start playing like, okay, I want to give the right flow to the song, I want to be like a locomotive for the band. I think this is the best skill that a drummer can have to be a good drummer. The first time I remember the first time I heard Iron Maiden, I was totally obsessed by the drum style of Nico McBrain, because I was so focused about how the songs have a good mood, and I say how he can give it to the songs. Then I start watching him live, and every time the drum parts are different. Sometimes he improvises with the bass drum, sometimes the drum fills are not the same, and I say, okay, it's not the fact about just play drums, but play every night for the songs.
Well, I think that's a very, very good point, and I think to expand on, I think good young drummers to record themselves playing with their band, to hear, wow, that I thought that drum fill sounded good, to my ears, but when I hear it recorded, it doesn't sound so good. It's not fitting in the song fit there. It doesn't flow correctly. It just doesn't sound right. I mean, there are some songs that just require just a straight beat, all the way through, like DC or something like that, and there are some songs that require. It just depends on the songs. What kind of song you're writing.
Yeah,
you could be a dream theater band, and I think that that opens up to playing a lot of different things, a lot of things that you want to play. But certainly you have to make things sound musical, not so clumsy or out of place. I'm playing in a cover band, and sometimes I try to put some cool drum fills and something like Sweet Child, but it just doesn't work. You know, this doesn't really, it's not what the song requires. It's not what was recorded. When you go outside of the box like that on a song like that, it may be cool for a minute, but really, at the end of the day, when you're playing the song like record, like that's the best. It's the best. I think that's the song's gonna be. You know, but some guys really like to take the limit. I know a drummer that he's with a cover band, and he's actually a pretty famous drummer at one time, and now he's with a cover band here in Florida. I'm telling you, every song he's playing double bass and double bass and AC/DC songs and Peter Frampton songs, you know, and it's like, wow, I don't know, it's not very good.
Yeah. I understand, because my greatest challenge as a drummer started 11 years ago when I joined a band that now is my main band, and they play a mix of gothic and doom metal. And when they called me, at the time I was playing with two progressive metal bands. So they gave me the songs, and I say, oh, the drums is not playing so much. Wow, how I can do it good. So I start work on myself to play in a totally different style. And when I do the audition with the band, I say, okay, everything is cool, but don't play too many drum fills, too many stuff on the cymbals, because we have an idea of the songs. So during the years, I start to be always better for the band, and I think that in the last 5 years, I finally found my good dimension to play with the band.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, it just depends on the song, what the people band want from a drummer. Because I mean, if you're not the leader of a band, if you're just, you know, if you're a guy, a drummer, they might have a fixed sound they're looking for, and this is what they want from you. And if you're a good professional drummer, you give them what they want, or go out and form your own band, and do what you want in that band.
Yeah, sure, you're right, man.
I try to be as mature. I try to be as most mature as I can playing drums. I see it as being a mature drummer. Not some guy back there, just like you said, want to show off, play all these crazy fills, and that's not very mature. Like you said, you have to play for the song, play the groove, play the beat, play what you need. I mean, I see these guys. Like one time I was with this cover band. I was going to go on the road for a while, and they were auditioning drummers to my place while I was gone. And they would all come up, and the first thing they do in the first song is just start playing all these fills and all all this crazy stuff, thinking they're going to get the gig because it's such, but that doesn't work.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Yeah. Sometimes all the crazy stuff that we practice for hours in our drum room sometimes are useless for the music that we are going to play.
Yeah, it is. It's true.
Yeah, but I think it's always a good challenge for us, because I think that when you play something different, you grow up to another level of being a drummer.
Yeah. When you're first starting out, of course you want to show off, but after a while you realize that just a good simple beat and making all the other people in the band happy, and making the whole band sound good and feel good, you get enjoyment out of that too. I get enjoyment out of just keep a good simple groove, and I get enjoyment out of that. Some especially when you're younger, you find it kind of boring, I guess.
Yeah, I understand. And what do you think about the current situation of the music business? Because it's super strange, because years ago a band had the chance to sold more albums than today, touring more and better. Now I think the business has changed a lot, because there's too much digital stuff to hear. There's not so much interest from the media about the physical supports, like vinyl, CDs, and everything else. What do you think about?
Yeah, well, it's a shame because the music industry nowadays is basically like it's almost a mirror of the way life in general has become. Life in general has become very sterile, very there's too many people following the next guy, too many sheep out there, man, that just go along. And I think that people's personality becoming colder and more sterile. We're all becoming like one big computer. It's like music has become like a computer. Art has become like a computer. Everything's AI, or like I said, drums are being programmed, drums are being quantized, vocals are being auto-tuned, guitar playing being slowed down, so you can guitar players are slowing their music down so they can speed it up, or they're playing one part and then copying it. With the digital age, it's just the way it is, man. You got the industry that they don't want to take a chance on new artists. You keep hearing the same people over and over: Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Accept, these same bands going out doing the same thing, same tours. It's like then you get a band like Ghost that comes out, and it's like, okay, it's pretty good, it's okay, but then when the things are more organic, and now they sound like a pop band, everything sounds contrived. Nobody wants to buy CDs. CDs are gone. Nobody can look at an album cover anymore. Nobody can look at lyrics and just stare at the record and pretend. There's no mystery anymore in the music. But that's the thing. There's no mystery. A lot of times you don't know who these guys even look like. You didn't know what their faces look like for years. You didn't know if it wasn't on their album cover. Now you could go to YouTube and see them recent tour. Or you could see their, interview or something, or them in their kitchen cooking eggs, or you could see them in their backyard with their farm animals, or you could see them, you could see your favorite stars, your favorite rock stars, feeding their babies. It's just like I said, it's like I said, I'm sounding old, but it's just become in that situation. But I mean, on the positive side, you could make your own records at home. You could do your own home recordings. I think that there's still love for classic metal in Europe, not so much in America. America's not really a place for heavy metal. That's my music. I love music playing all my life. So in general, I think it's been kind of a negative thing for, like I said, for old guys like me. So at this point in my age, come a point where it's like, well, I'm semi-retired because there's really not a whole lot left for me to do. There's really not. I mean, unless somebody was to call me up and say, hey, man, I want you on a drum clinic for another year or two on the road, or I've got a, I want you to join my band. It's going to pay you this amount of money, and you're going to have dental insurance, you're going to have health insurance, and you're going to be able to bring your family on. I mean, it's just not the way for us older guys. I always say that rock and heavy metal is really, it's a young man's game. It's a young man's show, but I still love playing drums, and I like recording. A lot of people call me up or they email, they ask me if they, if I can record some drums for it, in my studio. I got my kit set up here.
Yeah.
I got my that's my D drum kit. It's I love that drum, D drum. You ever heard of company D drum?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at now, man.
Yeah, I really like when you talk about the album cover.
Yeah.
Because it remembers me when I was like 16 years old, and I was really into metal music, and I spent a lot of times in the afternoon after the school in the recording stores, looking for some new CD or cassette to buy. And I remember my first Manowar album was Kings of Metal, and I have never heard Manowar before, but I think this was my idea when I see the album cover. Okay, it's look like Iron Maiden but different. I think it's good for me. I will buy it. And I've done the same for a lot of metal albums when I was young, like Halloween, Accept, Saxon, just for the album cover, because at the time we don't have the chance to hear it before here in Italy, because there not so much promotion for those bands on the TV, just sometimes on MTV, but late in the night. So I discovered everything in this way, and it was really magic for me, because I always was really excited to come back home and take the bootleg of the band, the smell of the booklet, all the artwork, the pictures of the band, what they write in the special thanks section was really magic for me. And I'm so sad because today it's not happening for the new generations.
Yeah, for sure, you're completely right about that. I mean, I was the same. If it was a really cool album cover, I thought, well, if the album cover is this good, then the music must be just as good. Oh, I lost you for a minute.
Okay, you are here.
You have me?
Yeah. You just freeze for a few seconds.
Yeah, I remember thinking, well, if the album cover is this cool, then the band must be great too.
Yeah.
I really missed that. Yeah.
For me, the album cover is super important because I think it's the first impression you can give to a fan.
Yeah. I remember.
Even if you are Metallica, you can make a complete black album cover and sold million copies.
Yeah, that's pretty weird. That's for sure. But I remember like albums like Stargazer and stuff like that, looking so cool, and Heaven and Hell, which I thought was a cool album cover.
Yes, with the angels smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, I just thought that was so cool. And I remember first putting that on and thinking, I never heard anything like that before. It was so, it seemed like Black Sabbath took a whole nother step, a big step forward into the, progression, a great progression for them.
Yes.
So, yeah, I miss the old days. I'm sorry, I'm old.
Oh, no. We just here to talk about it. For
Yeah.
example, when I was like 13, I was obsessed with the album cover of Led Zeppelin 4. It was so mystical for me.
Which one? Which cover is that?
Which one?
What cover is it?
Led Zeppelin 4.
What's on the cover?
Wait. Just wait.
Ah,
This one.
uh-oh.
Can you see it? Ciao Elisa, appena riesce a rientrare gli faccio vedere la tua domanda. Purtroppo, come ho detto all'inizio della diretta, hanno un pochino di problemi col meteo in Florida. Mi stava dicendo prima Rhino che c'è qualche problemino inerente a tornadi, vento forte, quindi non è che ha proprio la connessione in maniera ottimale. Infatti abbiamo avuto un pochino di problemi anche prima. Ora vediamo se riesce a rientrare subito. Aspettiamo un secondo, provo a ricontattarlo in privato. Vediamo un pochino che cosa succede. Comunque devo dire, sono molto felice di essere riuscito comunque a fare già una mezz'ora di chiacchierata con lui. È un batterista che all'epoca per me ha significato veramente tanto quando ho scoperto The Triumph of Steel dei Manowar. Non so quanti di voi conoscono l'album, ma cavolo, all'epoca veramente mi mandò fuori di testa. Eccolo, forse ce l'ha fatta. Ok, here we are again.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah. So,
Well, I think I had a bad connection in my studio.
yeah, probably here is better. So we have a
Yeah,
question
I
for
had to,
you
I had to come into
from,
the house.
yeah, we have a question for you from Elisa. Okay, question for Kenny. Which is the first band you ever listened to?
The Monkeys. Do you remember the Monkeys?
No, no, but the name is so
Yeah,
funny for me. There was an American band?
yeah, they were like they were like a like a like a teenage pop sensation, for teenagers, and that was the first band I sat down to play drums to was the Monkeys.
Yeah, cool, cool.
Yeah.
It's always super interesting to know that things. I really like it. So, if I'm right, you have often played here in Italy, sometimes with Ross the Boss or Son of Odin, the Manowar tribute band. Do you like play here in our country? What is your feeling with the people, with the crowd?
Yeah, actually, I like Italy so much. Me and my wife, we talk about retiring to Italy. That we like it so much, man. We have a whole lot of friends in Italy, and especially that town in Sondrio that's up north.
Yes.
We have a lot of friends there, and that's kind of the place where we talk about going there and settling down there. We love Italy very much.
Yeah, cool. As I told you before we start the live stream, I remember your show here with Ross the Boss in Rome for the Kings of Metal anniversary. Was a really cool night. The club was packed of people, and the band plays really great. So I think that here in Italy, there's a really good crowd for the Manowar stuff. And also, a lot of people really like your stuff on the album Triumph of Steel, because I made a video weeks ago where I talk about your style, and a lot of people told me that, wow, hey, it's super cool. He did some incredible drum fills, bass drum. So I think you decide to retire here in Italy. You have a nation of fans that will be really happy about it.
Yeah, I really love to be there, and I love the food, and I like the people. It just seems like a really great place to be, man. I mean, the music is great, and everything about Italy we love, man. And I've been around the world, and I've seen a lot of different places. I've been a lot of places, but there's some of my favorite people in Italy for sure.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
just this is just a typical nerd drummer question. Um, the drum solo in the song Achilles, Agony and Ecstasy, did you
Mhm.
write it or is totally improvised?
Honestly, a lot of that was just a collaboration between me and Joe, because he had a specific, the bass player, he had a specific sound he wanted me to do, specific things he wanted me to play. So it wasn't really completely all, necessarily my ideas for what I would have played, but um, together we just came up with some ideas. Hey, start, do this now. Now I'll try this. Now in this section, try this, try that, and that's how it came together.
Okay. No, because I really like it because it gives a real idea about how it sounds. How a blacksmith made an armor.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of what we were going to, trying to make a story out of a drum solo instead of just going crazy. You know?
Yeah, and it's great because in this first
Yeah.
song you made a lot of stuff with the drums, and then this in the song Metal Warriors you play just a big giant groove. So it's great to see how you manage two songs so
Right.
different between. Yeah, and
Yeah, like I
just
said, I
another
mean, some songs.
Yeah, and
Go ahead.
just another question is about the first drum fill of the song "The Power of Thy Sword," because it sounds different, like a typical power fill between hands and feet.
Yeah, I mean, I actually explained that on my YouTube my homepage. I explain how I do that fill. It's really not that difficult. It's just, a lot of times drum fills aren't that difficult. It's just how fast you're playing. If you could play them at faster tempos, it sounds harder than it really is. You know.
Okay. Oh, I just found the video. I put the link here. So people can see it.
Yeah, I can check it out. I try to do more videos, but I'm kind of like I said, I'm kind of behind when it comes to technology. So I'm going to try and do a lot more drum videos in the future for YouTube.
Yeah, will be cool. Will be cool. I think you did a
Yeah.
lot of cool stuff in this album, and people is really curious about it.
Cool, man.
Yeah. So another question I have for you is about the Triumph of Steel tour. I just would like to know which was the best show for you during the tour.
Um, I actually remember shows we did in Japan were really great. Some really good shows. That was very memorable. Hold on one second. Let me turn this on for my battery dies. Okay. We did some shows in Japan that were really great. Of course, a lot of shows in Germany. Oh man, come on, this damn thing. Okay, we did a lot of shows in Germany that were great, but we did some shows in Athens, Greece that were crazy because the crowds were so crazy. They were always around the hotel and around the vehicles, around the bus. People were everywhere, and at that time, I think we played like 3 shows in Greece at that time. We played one of our biggest shows there at the time. I think it was like 20-something thousand people. That was memorable. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, is that moment when you jump on stage and acting like, wow,
Yeah.
I can see where the
It's pretty
people end.
incredible.
Yeah. And do you have a specific warm up that you do before the show?
Well, back then I can remember, I used to run a lot and just playing, you know, um, single strokes with your left hand, back and forth with your right hand, left, rights, doubles, paradiddles, double paradiddles, going back, starting over again, doing that and, using more of your wrist than your fingers because, for heavy metal and rock, you have to really play more with your wrist than you do I play a combination of wrist and fingers, but my wrist I use a lot because you have to, have that energy and pull that volume out of the drums. And I've always been more of a wrist kind of player than finger. Some of these guys, they play with their sticks, like this. They call it the French grip. Steve Smith's really doing a lot of that now. Steve Smith,
Yeah.
he used to be more of a, but he really, he's got this thing where he's got his hands really, he's barely holding the drumsticks. For me, I use the German grip, which is this way.
Yeah.
Because for me, the wrist action is what's really important. You can get your arm, and your wrist all in one, and that was always my technique.
Yeah.
Instead of this, it was always this, and practicing like on a pillow. Dennis Chambers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has
He
super
he
fast
had
hands.
Yeah, he had advice one time I saw him in a drum clinic and he said, practice on a pillow. And I thought, that seems kind of weird. But I'd practice on a pillow. Like, I don't know if you know that George Lawrence Stone book, the stick control book.
Yeah.
I practiced that on a pillow like the first couple of pages. And it just seems like you get more a lot more strength that way if you're playing rock or metal. Because you're competing with amps and really loud amplifiers, and you want to make sure that you're as loud and as powerful as possible. I don't think that a lot of metal drummers play that way. Some are much lighter players, in metal. But when I see a heavy metal rock drummer playing drum, I like to see him really digging into the drums instead of just tapping.
Yeah, because especially in the extreme metal style, the drummers play really, really fast, but not so powerful, just because the songs are really, really super fast. So they are forced to use triggers and stuff like that. Because for sure, if you play like 245 BPM, 16 notes, is impossible to hear clearly all the strokes. But I really like the old school of drummers. So less strokes, but super powerful.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I don't really understand this kind of drumming today. I don't understand this. Everything's just so fast, and there's really not a lot of technique. Just everything's always just fast, fast, fast. I don't really understand blast beats. I don't like it. I don't like when I hear it. And I try not to be negative about it, but that's how I feel, because that's the generation I come from, is more not so. I mean, I love fast drumming. People like Dean Castronovo and Tommy Alders can play really fast. But, it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way all the time.
Yeah. No, I understand, because those are the same drummers I like, and those are the drummers which I grow up for my style.
Yeah.
So,
Me too.
man, we have almost done with this interview, but I have just a last question. Is about, do you have an advice for the young drummers that today decide to become a professional drummer?
Oh, my advice is learn your rudiments. Also, I would say, a good is to listen to yourself back recording. Because I remember the first time I heard myself back on a recording, I was shocked. I couldn't believe how bad I sounded. I just couldn't believe it. Because I thought to myself, in my body, and what I was hearing back, sitting behind my drums, sounded so great. But when I heard myself with a band play on tape, it wasn't so great. And I could tell what was wrong. I could tell. Actually, I really could tell immediately what was going on. Oh, I see. I have to do this. I have to do that. I'm not coming out of my fills on time. So I think listening to yourself back with a band is really important, and to play along with a metronome, man. To play along with that click, that metronome is very important.
Okay.
We got not hordes of people wanting to know what Rhino has to say. That's all right.
Ok, I'm just sharing in the comments the link of your YouTube channel. Ragazzi, questo è il canale YouTube di Rhino. Se volete andate, subscribe channel, put like. C'è tantissimo materiale veramente interessante e in futuro, insomma, speriamo ne pubblicherà ancora. So, back to English. First of all, I would like to thank you for this live stream. I'm super happy that we do this.
Amen. Thank you so much, Emiliano, for having me, and I appreciate it so much. and I hope to talk to you again.
Yeah, me too. I hope to see you in person here in Italy. So we had the chance to
I
talk
hope so,
face to face, and
for sure.
thank you to all the people that watch this live stream. And so, see you soon, guys. Have a good weekend.
Take care, buddy.
Thanks again, man. Was a really honor to have this live stream with you.